think you might have got the impression from me before that I like facts and objectivity. For this session, I'm going to fuck all that off, and I'm going to tell you my instincts and my feelings about all of these things. And thank you, we're going to tear through them pretty quickly. The ones that I spend longer on are the ones that I'm more biased towards, so there's just a little hint. Those ones I like a lot. And number one makes me really mad. I grew up playing with Lego. This is a competition that Equinor sponsors where kids play with Lego, and the social media, Julie got me onto this, the social media for this thing is just full of kids wearing massive Equinor logos. It's very bad to use kids as advertising for Equinor logos. It's also really bad to destroy the planet, but disrespecting Lego is fucking unforgivable. It makes me so angry, I can't even begin to describe it. Next slide, please. You talked a lot about this one already, so I'm not going to go too much into the details of the event. It's just, Callum mentioned before that the justification used by the dude was that Equinor is a driving force for the energy transition, so I just did a quick calculation because it just... As we mentioned earlier, and I think that most people recognize, Equinor is not a company that is transitioning quickly, but just to put it in some numbers for you, according to my own calculations, the percentage of energy Equinor sold in 2020 was 0.6%, and in 2025 it was 2.9%. So at this rate of change, Equinor will be selling 100% clean energy in the year 2375. So, I don't know what, so much impatience, guys, just wait. I will be 390 years old when that happens, so yeah, I will enjoy that. Next slide. Johan Castberg felt it. I'm not going to dwell too much on this, it's just, I've noticed in my time here in Norway that when there is a massive announcement of new oil extraction, there's always a little party. Something that will stick with me for the rest of my life was one particular announcement where they all ate these lovely little ice creams. It was an abnormally hot day, I wonder why. And they all went outside to eat their ice creams, and the ice creams were dripping down their hands, and it was a massive new oil field they were announcing. In that same vein, this is a massive celebration. There's like a little thing with, you know, kids museum, the science museum thing. And Equinor bragged about this project that it has a recoverable reserves of 500 million barrels of oil. I reckon we need to come up... so what they did in this event, you can see a nice little picture of it there. There's a big red check, a novelty check. People are still doing that, that's amazing. We need to create a novelty check with some of our numbers, I reckon. Next slide. I'm going to dwell on this one for a minute or two. I hope that's okay. So this is a social media campaign. These are little clips of employees at Equinor who talk about why they're doing what they do. There's like gentle piano music in the background and soft focus and all that sort of thing. And I read, Julie sent the slide earlier, and I read it. And then I thought, actually, you know what, I'm going to watch the video. And I'm sorry to say it, you guys kind of buried the lead on this one. Because I watched the video. So basically, the employee says, what we're doing here is we're transitioning the world's energy system as we're using it, which is like doing a heart transplant on a patient. We are the doctors performing the heart transplant on the patient, which is Earth. By transitioning the energy system, which is pretty bad. That's a bit of a self-aggrandizing thing to say. But she then goes on to say, not only are they doctors performing a heart transplant, but the energy system is growing, which in the metaphor is accounted as the patient who is receiving the heart transplant is running a marathon whilst they are receiving the heart transplant, and Equinor is running alongside the person receiving the heart transplant as they cut, like, and the person's running. I just, famous Norwegian modesty at play. I found it really, really amazing. Equinor is not a collection of doctors performing a heart transplant. They are running about 10 meters behind the group of people performing the heart transplant on the person who's running, and they have a tray full of burgers and fries, and they're begging the person who is receiving the surgery to eat those burgers and fries. That is what they are doing. To the person from Equinor who is probably here secretly recording this, don't do metaphors. We're better at it. Just don't try. Next one. This is an interview with the previously mentioned Norwegian oil minister, and the theme of this was a deep dive into climate policy. The climate minister, yeah, sorry, and he I don't understand Norwegian perfectly, and particularly complicated political discussions like this. I was sitting next to our friend Dickon during this session, and I actually understood a lot, and it was purely through the medium of Dickon's groans of frustration, which got louder and louder as the event went on, and towards the end of it, I was really concerned that he was going to stand up, grab a craft beer from someone in the audience and start hurling it at them. And Dickon is a lovely, kind teddy bear of a human being, but he was so mad at this. And I think it was completely justified, because that is not something that should ever happen. Next slide. These are facilities known as petro centers. We are getting a couple of new petro centers. They're sort of presented as like research facilities to make the energy transition, to make the process of fossil fuel extraction cleaner. They're getting, 15 million kroner each year for the next 8 years. And I just find this entire concept really, really frustrating, because the problem, of course, is not the emissions that occur when you extract the oil, it's what you're selling. And I liken this to British American tobacco bragging about how few of its factory workers are smoking cigarettes, or a drone manufacturer bragging that they didn't have any drone strikes on their factory during the production of drones. It is not about it's not about how you're making it, it is about what you're selling. So I think that is a nice representation of that talking point. Next slide. This is really another of my favorites. This is Aker BP, a very large fossil fuel company. They haven't come up a lot tonight, but they're quite a big one, and they're very influential, and they've commissioned a street artist to do street art on places that aren't a street. These are oil platforms, and they do not have streets on them, and he will be on there. Apparently, this is the largest street art project in all of Europe, I think they said on the website. And I find that really, really remarkable. If he uses green paint, it is literally greenwashing, which is also very funny. And then something really frustrating, of course, the 3 oil fields in conjunction are called Yggdrasil, which is the tree of life. And the emissions from the 3 oil fields together will cause 100,000 heat-related deaths by the year 2100. So that is absolutely horrific and very, very frustrating. I have a few suggestions about what this street artist could paint on the oil platforms, but I'm too Australian to say them out loud here in Norway, so you'll have to just imagine. And then the last one. This is Equinor sponsoring the Red Cross. The Red Cross spend a lot of their time and money and effort dealing with the impacts of climate change. I just find this really horrific and horrible, because Equinor obviously kind of see a project like this as a self-sustaining greenwashing tactic, where first you sell the fossil fuels, they cause the climate disasters, and then you sponsor the people trying to deal with them. It can go on forever if no one decides to make it stop. So those are all 8 of them. I think we're going to do the voting now. So, take out your phones. So, do your QR code. Oh, sorry. I'm not in the way, am I? Oh my gosh. Sorry. They're plastic glasses. That got introduced in Sydney when too many people were throwing glasses at each other. All right. So does everybody have the page to vote? Go vote, but I'm curious to know. Oh, here we go. All right. Wow. I'm really curious to know if my attempts to bias you all have had any effect. Wow, you guys love Lego. The Red Cross thing is a particularly nasty one. Yeah. How long are we going to let them vote for, Julie? I think we'll let it go for a few, like 30 more seconds, yeah? So if you haven't voted, get it in. I think it's leveling out. I think should we call it? Yeah? I think we can comfortably say that the winner of the very first Petroganda Award is the Red Cross. For accepting sponsorship money from a company that is causing the thing they're trying to stop, which is bonkers. So congratulations to the Red Cross. And yeah, thank you everyone. I'm going to hand it back to Julie.